So, like, were any of the players instrumental in the portal process for you, like, or on the team currently?
Yeah, so I would say I would be Talon and Carmona for sure. Talon hit me up like just as instantly as the coaches did, and Carmona he followed suit pretty well. Like they was both on me heavy, but like I could feel it was like genuine. And it definitely played a big part. Like Carmona, like he hosted me too. Like he allowed me to ask like really any questions. He took me to his house when I got there. But yeah, they showed me a lot of love. And like on my visit, like Talon spoke to my dad probably for like 20-25 minutes. Like after practice, just I'm looking over, I'm talking to like Blackstock, and he like laughing with my dad. Like they known each other for years. But like it played a big part.
Welcome into the Hog Pod. I'm Bo Mattingly, and this episode is made possible by our friends at South by Northwest Hospitality. In this episode, we introduce Hog fans to one of the Razorbacks' newest offensive lineman transfers, a redshirt senior from Georgia Tech, Corey Robinson. He takes us through a story from being told he couldn't make it as a Power 5 football player to proving them all wrong and climbing his way to the SEC. Corey walks us through what brought him to Arkansas and what Coach Pittman and even Talon Green said that got him here. Now, let's get to know one of your newest Razorbacks, offensive lineman Corey Robinson. So I bet it's all happened really fast. Here, just like that, you're at Georgia Tech, and now you're at Arkansas.
Yeah, no, it's been real quick, fast transition, but I'm real excited. I couldn't wait to finally get out here.
I don't think as fans we fully process what transferring's like, but I guess if we took a second and thought about it, it'd be like you're a kid and you go to a new school. You go to a brand new school, you don't know anybody. And you're older, you're an adult, but that's still weird for all of us. Like any of us that walk into a room, we don't know anybody. What's this process been like for you, leaving, one place and then walking into a completely new environment?
Yeah, no, it's definitely like being like the new kid at school. Like you pick up your whole life and move it to somewhere else, really just chasing like, your dreams or whatever. But like the team's been real cool and they've embraced like all of us new guys like real well. But it definitely is different. But just like you said, it's like you picking up your life and you starting somewhere else, and now like you the new guy. Was the old guy at Georgia Tech that's been there for a minute, but now I'm the new guy in a new environment. But it's really cool.
Your senior year of high school was 2020. That was the COVID year, right? And so man, it feels like forever ago. But how have things changed as a college football player with the transfer portal and NIL the way that it is now? Like, has the environment, have you noticed like an environmental change, just the atmosphere, the vibe, the locker room, how things happen?
I think NIL definitely adds like a new like layer to the game. It's good. It can be good and bad, but it definitely is giving guys more opportunities to kind of like live more comfortably, I would say. When I was graduating high school, it was just like coming out that NIL was like going to be legal now. So guys like were just kind of excited, but like now to like really see it and like start being able to make some money for all that we're doing, it's been great.
Was that really a thing? Or did that, like when you came out of high school, was NIL like a big consideration, or did that kind of happen a little bit later than that?
Cause my actual graduation was spring of 21.
Okay.
So that was like, I think when the law had like just been passed, pretty much saying, we can have NIL, and then like the talks of the video game started coming back. But like definitely it's definitely like
it's changed since you've been in college, right?
Because at first it was very like much more smaller and more selective. But now I feel like you see everybody now is being able to benefit.
The schools and programs are more organized with it. Back then, it's interesting to me because you came out of high school and it wasn't really a thing. You probably weren't, you tell me, you probably weren't making a decision based on where you were going on how much money you were getting.
Not at all.
Yeah, so that's a big difference. Yeah.
Nah, for sure. 'Cause especially like when it first started like being talked about, people was looking more towards like product deals, like could I get a free meal from a restaurant? You know what I'm saying? And then as time kept going on, the collectives started coming about, and then collectives started growing. So like I definitely got to see like the growth of NIL, and then through like the collective and then like different product deals, and then also people having agents. Like all that is just now starting to like really come about. So, and then also having the video game. So I've definitely been able to see like all of it, I would say.
One more thing along this line, and we'll move on. But as a player, you just played football. I mean, you're in high school, you play football, you get to college, you play football. Does it take some time? Like, do you have to carve out some time to sort of work on the business part of your life now?
Really, really no. It's not as big of a responsibility as you think, especially like if you have representation. But it's really just like anything else, especially like it's use, like you really care about it. So it feels like, when you are negotiating or talking to somebody, reaching out, it's more like you're doing this to benefit you. So it's not as much of like a job as it is like what you want, like almost like a hobby that you would pick up, or trying to find new businesses or find new deals or something of that matter.
I guess as a future potential NFL player, it kind of helps prepare for what business will be like, at the next level. All right, so take me back on your story a little bit, and then we're going to just kind of go back to high school and then catch up through your career and what brought you to Arkansas and what kind of player you are, where you want to go, and who you want to be. But tell me about high school ball. I mean, what kind of high school program did you play for? At Roswell, Georgia?
Yeah, I played for a really good high school program. I played 7A football in Georgia at Roswell High School. I still love that school. I've gone back and spoke to the players and everything.
Who was your head coach?
So at my first 3 years, it was Matt Kemper.
Okay.
And then for my senior year, it was Chris Pruitt.
Okay. Now, Georgia high school football doesn't get the same attention quite like maybe Friday Night Lights in Texas and all that happened. But, I mean, it's big time.
Yeah, no, it's major.
Like, it's serious.
It's major for sure. And a couple of years ago, Max Press dropped a ranking. In Georgia 7A football, they said was the hardest football in the country. It gets crazy for sure. I know it's not Texas, but I think if you put us up with them boys, we'll do just fine.
Yeah. And so what did you played on a pretty big stage in high school? Mm-hmm. And what position were you playing?
I was playing left tackle.
And has that pretty much been your position?
Mm-hmm, it has, but I wasn't always like the guy through high school. Like my freshman year of high school, I was 158 pounds.
No, whoa. What?
I promise, yeah. Now I was 158 pounds on the bench. I was on the bench for a while.
You weren't left tackle at 158 pounds,
I was. I came out and I was still like real tall and lanky, and I would just.
So you just hadn't really filled out.
I hadn't filled out at all. And
that's still crazy.
It was, and I was playing online, but like I said, I was on the bench. I was watching the games. I wasn't playing anything.
My gosh.
Yeah.
So how did you? I mean, did you have to put a lot of work in?
Yeah. So I've been with the same trainer since I was in 8th grade. His name is Vince Vance, and he really believed in me from the beginning. Even when I was walking around like that as an offensive lineman, and like with him, and then with my family, of course, like they was feeding me like crazy, and I would go to my trainer. We would lift and train like crazy, and then it was just about getting the weight on, and then like really learning the technique of offensive line. And I've been with him since. And then going into like my junior year was when I really started to like figure it out. And I started really putting it together and started like really playing, of course, on varsity and doing all that. It was after that season when I started getting offers and everything.
So how tall were you when you were a freshman?
I was about 6'1".
Okay, 158 pounds. 6'1".
And I put on 100 pounds in a year. So I went from like 6'1" to 158 to then I went to 6'3" and I was 258.
Nah, I don't know. It sounds like you kind of knew you had a future in football even then. Mm-hmm. Was that true? I mean, if you had a trainer in 8th grade and
for me, it was just like, it was a dream of mine, and my parents are very supportive. So when they knew it was a dream of mine, they was like, you're going to do whatever, we can to help you. And that's really how it came about. It was always like, I always believed I could do it. And it was always a dream to play in the SEC at first, but then of course, like playing D1 college football, and tell you, my parents and my trainer, they helped me make it possible.
Were you athletic growing up, like
I was,
skill-wise?
I was always athletic, and I played baseball too for a while when I was younger, and I was really good at baseball. But football never really came easy at first, but I always just loved the sport. So I just kind of kept working and grinding at it and just trying to really figure it out.
So what led to you being on the offensive line, just weighing, 6'1", 158 pounds? That's a light receiver, but I would see you playing receiver or something like that.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of size and
yeah, I didn't have the speed for it.
Okay. So, all right. Well, that helps.
I wasn't, I don't think I had the routes for that at the time.
Yeah.
So it was easy for them to put me on the O-line.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, were you discouraged when you were just sitting over there on the bench? I'm just intrigued by your size as a freshman and then you being willing to put all the work in. And I'm like, why? Did you have some hey, man, if I just do this, I can make it? Because like you telling me that story, I'd be looking at you going, I wouldn't be thinking that you're going to be playing no college ball. You know what I mean?
It's a crazy story. And for me, it was just I've always believed in myself before anybody else could ever doubt me. I've always been one to bet on myself for anything. If it's something that I want or want to achieve, I'm gonna go get it. And for me, I knew I wanted to play in college. I didn't really know what it was gonna take, but I was like, I'm gonna just get as big as I can. I'm gonna train as hard as I can, and I had faith in God as well that He was gonna be on my side to let it work out. And that's really what got me here.
Where'd your dream come from about playing in the NFL?
Or playing in the SEC? Because really it just started out as just watching college football, and that made me want to start playing in college. And I was like, I can do it. I know I could do it. And again, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm 158 pounds, but I was like I'm a play in college. And my parents, they was right with me. That's what you want to do. You can go do it. And then of course, pursuing that, I started looking at the NFL. I'm like, okay, if I'm playing college, it's not gonna be for no reason. I'm playing the NFL. So then my dream just kind of it just kept growing. I kept just working harder and harder. And to this day, I'm telling you, my trainer from 8th grade is who's still with me now. And that's what we're chasing.
In your experience, what is the key to keeping a dream alive?
I would say it's got to be based on you. At the end of the day, my parents motivated me. I had a lot of prayers going my way. But there's got to be something in you when you got to wake up for them workouts or when you got to go get that extra training session. When it's Saturday after you just did a long week of workouts and you still going to go train, it's got to be a drive. It's you got to want it. That's all it really comes down. The only reason why I'm here really honestly is because I just wanted it more than other people. There's people that was far more athletic and more just godly gifted, but I just wanted it more, and that's kind of always been my story.
So that's cool. You said that your junior year it started to come together, and started to become more of a realization. Did you start getting some schools looking at you?
Yeah, I started getting offers after that season. I was taking a lot of different visits. I was at a new school every weekend, once that season started, because I got a lot of traction fast, and then COVID happened, and all the visits got canceled, all the junior days, all the camps. And then a lot of places started, guys got extra years and places started filling up, and my recruitment pretty much got stopped until my senior year, that senior season. So I went from being somebody that was really climbing and finally wow, I'm about to make it to okay, we got to see where I kind of end up. And then Kansas came along pretty late.
So that's a tough break.
No, for sure.
Just with in general. And there's a lot of stories like that we probably don't even really know about. But so you ended up going to Kansas, and you were there for a year.
Yes, sir.
Right? It's cold.
No, it was cold.
Yeah.
Real cold.
I spent some time there. I know. And so then you end up transferring to Georgia Tech after 1 year. Okay, so tell me about Georgia Tech.
Yeah, so I was at Kansas for a year. Nobody off the staff that had recruited me there was there anymore, and the new staff that came in.
Was that Les Miles staff?
Les Miles is the one who offered me.
Okay, yeah.
And they brought in the new staff, and honestly, just the new staff didn't really want a lot of the guys off my class, and just felt like it'd be best if we played other places. And didn't really believe that we were all fitted to really play at Kansas, and that was my story with them as well. But then I hit the portal, and got in contact with Georgia Tech and Coach Key, and they pretty much told me that if I was looking for a place to come play early, that would be where it would be at, and it panned out to be so.
Yeah, it's another little bump in the road right there, though, with Kansas.
Oh,
right?
yeah, nah, for sure.
You've had some adversity.
Oh, definitely.
Like you finally get going, COVID hits. It's not as not as much of a recruitment process now, where you might have had a lot of offers, and then the place you end up going, it's like, yep, we got a coaching change, and
I couldn't
not
wait.
sure we like you here.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely rough. It was really hard. I loved the school. I loved my teammates. I still talked to a lot of my boys from there, and it was hard. Like our exit meeting came, and my coach told me straight to my face, he didn't think I was a Power 5 football player. He didn't think I was good enough to play at Kansas, and he felt like I needed to move on. I called my dad and my trainer, my mom, and that was all I needed to hear. Because like I told you, I've always bet on myself. So, you could tell me that. You could tell me anything, and it's going to go right through one ear, out the other.
So you didn't buy that. You didn't like have a pity party.
Not at all.
You didn't even get sad about that.
Nah, I called my dad like it's time to go. Like what's up?
Yeah.
I knew.
That's not a short drive from Kansas to Georgia, is it?
Nah, I remember I packed up all my stuff, and it was a 13-hour drive. I had a lot to think about, but I knew what I was getting ready to do.
So you went to Georgia Tech, and tell me how the opportunities came and what you did.
So, yeah, they had a pretty younger offensive line, and they needed a left tackle, and they told me straight up, if I come in, I'll have a chance to compete for the job, and I won it, and it was great. I loved my teammates there. I enjoyed my time there, but I knew it was time to move on.
Well, that was 2022. So you were a freshman at Kansas 2021. You're told that you're not a Power 5 football player.
Yeah.
You really don't have any business here at Kansas. Not like some power at Kansas. and I don't mean any disrespect.
Oh, nah.
I just mean if you're just looking at it.
Feelings.
I don't mean any disrespect to them either, but when you're just thinking about it, it's not like, some team that's been in the playoff the last 5 years told you that. So that could have been really discouraging. But what's interesting to me is you go to Georgia Tech and you start all 12 games.
All 12.
So you went from being told you can't play to starting all 12 games, and they are a Power 5 team.
Yeah. It was crazy. It felt like that was another moment. I've had a lot of moments in my life where God has showed me, if I just believe in him, he'll work it out. And that was one for sure where I just trusted him and just worked and handled my side, and I knew he would do his part too.
So in 23, you played in all 12 games again. You led the ACC with only 1.15 sacks allowed per game. It's 15th nationally. You guys averaged 200-plus yards rushing, which led the ACC. And then you ended up graduating. I mean, it looked like that. It looks just from afar that Georgia Tech thing worked out for you. Like you took advantage of it.
It did. There was some bumps there too. And sometimes, things didn't really go the way that I wish that they did. But I think it was really good for me, good for my career, and I learned a lot.
What was this past season like for you?
Yeah, it was bumpy too. Starting out, I'd got hurt in fall camp, and so that I didn't come back till about 6 days before the first game. And they wanted to roll with somebody else to start it out. I played the majority of that game, but still was coming off the bench, having to rotate. And that's what the team needed, so that's what I did. Second game was kind of like that too, and third game was. I think it might have been the fourth game when they brought me back starting, and I knew I wasn't letting that go. And I just like every season, everybody prepares hard, but I knew this was a big season for me. And just my mindset was just trying to get everything that's mine in every game that we had. But it was a good season, and a good one to set me up for this upcoming one for sure.
So season ends, you enter the transfer portal. What were your thoughts going into the portal?
I wanted to find a place where I felt like I was valued. Last season, I spent some time having to rotate. Season before that, Georgia Tech had me out for about 2.5 months on the bench, really. And I knew that wasn't what I deserved. I knew that wasn't where my talent was best needed. And I wanted to find somewhere that really was going to value me and be able to help me reach the height of my potential, honestly, and where I could really bring my career to the next level. especially with this being my last year, I just wanted to go somewhere where I felt like it was like the best fit. And like everything else, like NIL, everything like that, that was for a later conversation. But like initially, all it was for me just finding that fit.
So you end up with some offers. You end up with some people looking at you. What was that like?
It was crazy. I remember I told my mom, like, my phone was going so crazy, I wanted to like throw it away. Like it was just constantly going off. But
it's a good problem to have.
No,
but then when you have it, it's not a good problem.
I had the majority of the ACC. I had probably about 5 or 6 different SEC schools, and about like probably like 5 Big Ten. And I really was only trying to focus on the SEC because I knew that's really where I wanted to go. So like I probably would have had even more offers, honestly, but I just was really so tunnel visioned with what I wanted.
Why the SEC?
I feel like the best football is played here. This is the best competition, and I feel like if you want to say you the best, you got to go against the best. And I feel like this is the best place to do it.
So what was your conversation like with Arkansas?
Man, Pittman and Mateos, like Mateos for one was just showing me different ways where he could take like my game to the next level. And then with Pittman, he was really just explaining to me about showing me like what he's done with a lot of other offensive linemen, what he knows he could do for me. And for me, that was huge. And just kind of letting me know, like, of course, what they already have here, because, I'm coming to an offensive line. I got some dudes with Carmona and Blackstock, and let me know I could join them and be a part of that room.
Did you guys get into like, hey, what position am I going to play? Am I only a left tackle? And what was that like for you?
No, we talked about it for sure, and I don't know how much is out, but like we talked about it for sure. But I definitely know I got a good fit here and a good idea of where I could be if I handle my side of business.
What do you like about the conversation you had with Coach Pittman and Coach Mateos and the direction of the offense that made you think this would be a fit for you? Because you've been through some ups and downs, and I'm sure you probably wanted to know, like, hey, is this going to be what it seems like it's going to be?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, for me, the first thing was fit. I wanted somewhere that had a good quarterback, which talent is amazing. And I wanted to be somewhere where I was valued. So like for me, it was understand the offense that they run and seeing how it would work with me in it. Understand, of course, the quarterback situation, like I said. And then knowing from an offensive line perspective what like Coach Mateos is teaching, how Coach Pittman is involved, and then understanding how they see me like fitting in with their offense and like how they're going to be able to better my career. Because like for me, I wanted to find a coaching staff that's going to be able to support me, but then also help me grow and develop to like the best version of myself. So they showed me that pretty clearly.
So like, were any of the players instrumental in the portal process for you, like are on the team currently?
Yeah, so I would say I would be Talon and Carmona for sure. Talon hit me up like just as instantly as the coaches did, and Carmona he followed suit pretty well. Like they was both on me heavy, but like I could feel it was like genuine. And it definitely played a big part. Like Carmona, like he hosted me too. Like he allowed me to ask like really any questions. He took me to his house when I got there. But yeah, they showed me a lot of love. And like on my visit, like Talon spoke to my dad probably for like 20, 25 minutes. Like after practice, just I'm looking over, I'm talking to like Blackstock, and he like laughing with my dad. Like they known each other for years. But like it played a big part.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. You love that from your quarterback.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now he's a really great dude. And like a lot of the team told me that too on my visit, and a lot of the coaches as well. Like, I could tell they really ride behind him, and that's really what you need in a good QB.
What do you think about this place now that you've seen it and worked out here and been in the facility for a while and been around town?
Yeah, no, it's special. It's very special. First off, like you can feel like the love in like Fayetteville and Arkansas as a whole. Like you could tell the fan support here is amazing. Like as soon as I committed here, I felt like it was like you could see it instantly. But then from a team perspective, guys have a lot of pride when it comes to playing here. It's not just like they're just here because they want to play football or whatever. Like you can tell they really have pride in being a Hog and pride in playing for Coach Pittman, and then just like with each other. Like they really believe in the system that they have here too. It's a lot of positivity in that locker room. And that was like what I already seen on my visit, which is kind of also like what brought me here, with just feeling like that real team and brotherhood and like belief in the locker room.
I can't help but think about your family. You've mentioned them a few times. Tell me more about just how you grew up, what your family's meant to you on your journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my family is my biggest like supporters, and I wouldn't be anywhere without them. My mom and dad is both in my life. They're both together. Been married 25 years. And my sisters are both in my life too. Like we're all very close. So it's me, my mom and dad. I got 2 sisters, and they all mean a lot to me. My older sister, she's a real inspiration to me. I think she's amazing, and my little sister, she always know how to put a smile on my face. So I always can go to her for anything. So like my family, like we're really close, and they're like after a game, that's like the first people I'm gonna go to, the first people I'm gonna text. Like right after a game, all that. And they know that's my crew.
Give me one thing that, or maybe a couple things that your parents kind of taught you or instilled in you that's kind of helped you on your journey, you know, through these ups and downs.
Mm-hmm. Belief in myself, and I would say faith in God. Really just telling me that I could do whatever it is that I want to do, and like if I work for it. That's not something that everybody like can just believe, that you can be at the bottom. Know that if you work and if you really want it, you can go get it. My dad's always been one to say, like, whatever you put your mind to, you can go do, you can go get. And then when it comes to faith in God too, like, you know, since a kid, they made sure that I had a strong faith. And I wouldn't be where I'm at without that. I can promise you.
So what are your goals moving forward?
So for one, of course, starting on this offensive line, definitely want to be able to contribute to that on the field. 2, being an all-SEC player. And then 3, I want to be drafted in the top 3 rounds after this season.
That's pretty precise.
Oh, yeah, nah, for sure.
Is this how you operate?
Yeah. One thing my dad always has me do is write my goals down, and like I put them around my house and everything. So I'm very big in the goal setting. You got to like really see it if you're going to achieve that.
I like to ask everybody that I talk to on this podcast, you know, like when your time as a Razorback is over, you know, how do you hope fans remember you and your time here?
I definitely think, you know, not really doing anything yet. That's, you know, it's a hard question to answer, but I want them to remember me based off the tenacity that I'm gonna attack the game with. I want them to be able to watch and remember me after they watch a game, and be able to know that I gave everything that I had, and that like I did my job and beyond that. And I think that's kind of what I want. I want them to just remember me for the type player that I am, and really seeing like for what I'm really doing on the field.
What do you like off the field?
Man, I'm real chill. I don't really do too much, but I play a lot of video games with my boys. You know, of course, I was at Georgia Tech. Like, I'm from around that area, so I would hang out like with a lot of my friends and stuff. But I play the game a lot, though, a lot.
The what game? The
NCAA now, of course.
And football?
Then, I play a little Call of Duty, Madden. I mix it up a little bit, but I definitely be on the game.
So what kind of teammate are you? Like what kind of, you know, are you a guy that just kind of blends in? Are you a guy that tries to lead? How would you
It's different now, you know, being, of course, new.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm more so just kind of like being very observant because I want to understand really, you know, how the locker room is. And, you know, I'm in somebody else's home now. So I'm trying to, you feel me, just kind of blend in more. But, you know, when I'm get more acquainted, I'm definitely like one to like laugh and joke around with my teammates. Like I love being in the locker room and just hanging out. Always gonna be somebody that like, you know, have somebody's back. At least, you know, I would like to believe so. Like I ride for my teammates too. Those are like my brothers. Like once you're on my team, like we're brothers now, like for life. And I kind of take that mindset with me every day.